Kate recently contacted me. She's Steve's wife, through Facebook, and she said she found this picture here of Steve and myself, and I told her I had that in the album, but I never looked at it. I think I said I haven't looked at it in a very long time, but I never look at it. It makes me sad. So, it was Sunday when I got the bad news. Sunday, a long time ago, I guess 18 years ago, and it was Lisa, one of Kate's friends. It was really bad news, and I know that they had found Steve unconscious. He had gotten his MD then, and he'd been practicing, I guess, for a short while. We talked about this type of situation. I mean, he'd gone to AA and Narcotics Anonymous, and he got someone to talk to him about it. He had a problem with drugs and all, but they found him unconscious, and it didn't look good. And I didn't get all the information until they'd made a decision, but I found out subsequently that he was brain dead, and he'd passed out, and they found a note in his pocket that listed everything he'd taken, apparently so that he could not overdose or keep track of it or something, because that wasn't Steve. He was really happy at what he was doing, and he had a family, had a son, Sam, and so they finally decided later that day to shut off the ventilator. It wasn't done, I think, until the next day, so certain people could get there, and a funeral was set up for the next weekend. And my girlfriend, Sam, same name as his son, we had been up to visit Steve just about 4 months ago. It was a really great trip. We'd gone up there we were kind of vacationing ourselves, and he was graduating from med school. So what we did was we set up a vacation for ourselves, and at the tail end of it, because we'd be flying out of Denver, where his med school was, we went to his graduation ceremony, and it was really neat, and it was just a really good time and all. I was with Steve the time before in the winter, and we'd spend some time on a frozen lake bed doing an outrageously large amount of LSD, and talking about the fact of how damn dangerous it would be when he finally got a prescription pad, because he could prescribe for himself, which is what he did. And I felt so sad. I love that guy. I still do. It's been so long, I still love him. But also angry at him for the fact that, I mean, it's not just depriving me of my best friend, but also his wife and his son and all that potential, because Steve was an immensely bright and creative guy. So I first met him, I guess about 8 years before. He was someone I met through tutoring. I didn't realize it, but he was taking large amounts of amphetamines at the time, and I was hypomanic, and so we got along really well. He was going 100 miles an hour, and I was going 100 miles an hour, and it wasn't like if someone else was around they couldn't keep up. It would just be unnatural to do it. There's kind of a natural rhythm that goes along with having a certain kind of consciousness. And speaking of consciousness, Steve was really into that. I guess, though, he wasn't really into this world. I mean, the real world that where, like, practical things go on. that was something that Kate took care of. Kate and Steve were brilliant. Kate's still brilliant. She could answer every question on Jeopardy almost, and she was an omnivore of information, but she was practical. And it was a pretty good hookup, the marriage and all, because she took care of all the complicated stuff that Steve didn't want to. She took care of mortgage and bills and planning, and he just didn't care about that. He wanted to think about how the mind works, how consciousness works, and about strange philosophies and ideas. And I guess I loved him for that because he kind of moved me in a direction closer to where he was, and I kind of moved him in a direction closer to where I was. I was more into the strict reductionist rational world, and he was more into the kind of spiritual realm, mystical realm. But man, I just loved the guy. When Sam and I went up for the funeral, everything had changed. I mean, we were just in Colorado. There was a funeral at Duke in North Carolina where he was practicing. Well, he was that was his residency program. But the one they had that we went to was in Ulysses, Kansas, which is like a place like it's like Oz, I suppose, because well, basically it's the middle of nowhere. There's no way to explain this other than to explain it. We drove from Denver with a nice rented car, a nice blue shiny rented car, and what happened is we were warned that there was only one gas station on the way to Ulysses once you got into that part of Kansas. And it was basically a straight road, and all there was farms. There was absolutely no stores, no nothing, absolutely barren. And the reason they don't have gas stations, everybody's a farmer there. They have their own gas. So we pull into the only gas station, and when we pull it in, we got this brand new shiny car. There are no cars like that on these roads. I mean, this is such an out-of-the-way place that all you see is trucks. And so we're going to fill it up. These folks come out and ask if they can touch the car, which is freaky. But they were like very well-meaning. They had just never seen a car like that. And one guy asked me, "What color is it?" And it was kind of like a turquoise, and I decided to say it was blue-green. But it was really something. I mean, Sam's a city kid. She grew up in New York City, and I'm in Miami, and this was just freaky. Anyway, when we got into, as we started driving down this road, just there's nothing, just farms, just straight road farms, no turns, just farms. And we're coming in at night, and what happens is I start to smell something just hideous, awful, and we have the windows rolled up and the AC, going, and I just think, God, what the hell is that? And we didn't really know. We just know that as you got closer to Ulysses, it started to smell worse and worse. And found out later that the town is built right next to a feedlot. That's a place where they feed and slaughter pigs, and the pig shit smelled for a mile away at least if the wind was blowing in the wrong direction. And the townspeople had a saying like, "Oh, it's a bad wind today." It's like, oh my, oh God. And we found in the town that they were building McDonald's. They had no fast food there at all. They just had a church on every block and houses, and it's basically a farming community. Steve's dad was a contractor that built the roadways in that area, lots of roads to build. And he was a fairly rich person. There was two classes of people, the people that owned something and the workers. It was kind of stratified that way. And a lot of the people in that town had never really left the town because there's no way to go where to go. It's like a town in the middle of like fields, wheat fields and stuff. So yeah. So anyway, the kids are on their bicycles and they're watching them build this McDonald's, and they're thinking, like, finally we're getting a McDonald's here. It was really quite remarkable. It was surreal, actually. And we hung out with, I'd met before Kate's friends, Lisa, and another friend, I forget her name now, and talked and all, because Sam was up there just with me a while ago. And the funeral was uneventful. Kate told me that the one in North Carolina was really special, but this was kind of perfunctory, I guess. And anyway, on our way out, we stopped at this little bar-like place to grab a bite to eat, and one of the guys that did like jobs for Steve's dad, odd jobs for Steve's dad, he was kind of, how do I explain him? I don't know how to explain him, but he kind of sat himself down at our table without asking, and because we had just said hi to him once, I guess, and he was trying to get a ride to Denver, and he'd actually never been outside of that small area there where the town is. And in order to help convince us that he'd be okay going to Denver, he said, "I'm not stupid. I've been to 1 or 2 county fairs before." And I mean, I'm not putting him down. It was just so fucking funny. And Sam kicked me really hard under the table. But it was sad. It was sad, So, yeah, that's the thing. That's sort of parts of the story scattered around there. So I saw that picture and I thought, well, I won't use a script. I'll just talk. And Steve was really full of promise. He was terribly bright, terribly creative. But I think the thing about him, I'm looking now at the picture, I haven't been looking while talking, is he had kind of a naivete, a vulnerability about him that was reassuring, but it was also a weakness. And I mean, I know about his background. His dad was an alcoholic, and there was a lot of bad things that happened and all. But we had a lot of fun, and I love him.